Yo, what's going on, guys? And today we are talking about my 220. What the hell? My 2021 NBA mock draft 6.0, guys. I want to hear your opinion down below right now. What do you guys think? This is the full 2 rounds. So I've made some changes. Some things are the same just because I have compared my mock draft to other mock drafts, and this is what I came up with. And I'm just going to show you the first round. I have a second round. I am going to show you the second round, but like right now I'm just scrolling. I'll do the same once I get to the second round. It's just would take me like a few pages, 9 pages, and that was 3 pages for the first round only. So let's get right into it. And I'm just going to do the top 6 picks very quickly just because I've spoken so much about these. Cade Cunningham, unless the Pistons don't trade the pick, Cade Cunningham has only worked out with the Pistons, no other team. The only way he doesn't go there is if the Rockets trade up and take him, and then the Pistons draft Green at 2. But I don't see that happening. Evan Mobley, he's going to go there, and I believe they're going to just let Jared Allen maybe sign and trade or just let him walk. Orlando Magic, they've been looking for a guy like Scotty Barnes, and I thought for the longest time it was going to be Jonathan Kuminga, but then I decided, I was like, no, yeah, they need scoring and stuff, but I believe Markelle Fultz, Cole Anthony, and I think hopefully Jonathan Isaac can take the jump with those guys, and they can be their scorers. So, all right, we're back. As you guys saw, my girlfriend actually texted me, and yeah, damn, those go. That's because of the Adderall, guys. No, so look, Jonathan Kuminga to Oklahoma City, because at this point they're just going to take the best prospect available, So I think that's what they should do. Jonathan Kuminga next to Shea, and hopefully they can bring back Lou Dort and then Alex Pokusevsky. And then with the other 2 picks I have, and really Darius Bazley could be their power forward, and Jonathan Kuminga could be their starting smart for this year. Maybe try Pokusevsky. I like Pokusevsky at this thing. It's really interesting. I think Jonathan Kuminga could work here, though. So it's just interesting. Let me hear your thoughts. Would you, if you're the Oklahoma City Thunder, do you guys just not take Jonathan Kuminga and get a different player? I want to hear. I'm not. He's either going to be Jaylen Brown, like a not explosive version, but more of a power version of Jonathan Kuminga. Is more of a power athlete. Jaylen Brown's more of an explosive athlete. So he's either going to be a power Jaylen Brown, Jeff Green, or Harrison Barnes. That's really what I think it is. It's not a bad floor to ceiling. James Bouknight, it seems like everybody is saying that the Golden State Warriors, if they keep their pick, this is the big if. If they keep their pick, they're going to go and get James Bouknight. He's a guy who can play shooting guard and small forward. He's a wing, a guard or a wing. He's going to hit shots from day one, and he can defend. He's got long arms. Now, a lot of people have moved on from Keon Johnson. A few still haven't, but I'm starting to agree. A 6'7", guard. I think he's more of a guard / wing. I would rather play him, shooting guard or small forward. And he's a guy 6'7" with a 7'1" wingspan. And yeah, he had bad inefficient shots, but he took a bunch of contested shots. He took so much, okay? And people don't realize what he's been able to do. And I think he's perfect for the future of next to Markelle Fultz, Cole Anthony. The Orlando Magic got Scotty Barnes right here. Jonathan Isaac, Scotty Barnes, Moses Moody, whoever they keep in Mo Bamba or Wendell Carter Jr. I like that team. Franz Wagner, this looks like it's unanimous. Everybody consensus thinks Franz Wagner is going to go to Sacramento. And I really truly believe that. I think it's a great fit. Why not? And he's going to be able to come. He's 6'9". He has the size to be a really good defender, versatile defender to guard shooting guards, wings, and power forwards. But he's also, yes, he's shown the ability. He looks like he has the potential to be an actual 40% three-point shooter in the league. Now, New Orleans Pelicans have made, and it has generated interest. This 10th spot might end up being the Memphis Grizzlies pick. Why? Supposedly Eric Bledsoe and the 10th pick for the 17th pick in this year's draft. They free up cap space to go get players to help them. And then at 17, at 10, the Grizzlies could get Josh Giddey right here. I think they would still be fine. I think they might go Keon Johnson. But at 17, it's interesting to think who the Pelicans would get, but we're going to go with that they keep it and get Josh Giddey. And you're thinking, why? Why are the Charlotte Hornets getting Keon Johnson? I want to hear your opinions and your frustrations. How much do you hate me? Let me hear the hate. All right, let me explain. First off, How often is a rookie center actually helping a team that's trying to go from, a playoff team, like a borderline playoff team, to an actual playoff team? Not often. Not really. Not often at the time. So it is in. They also have Vernon Carey and Nick Richards, which I don't think are the future, but could be a backup. They really could benefit from signing a guy like Montrezl Harrell or another player and getting a center in the second round and using their first. Look, the Martin twins, Gordon Hayward, and Miles Bridges are their small forwards. Their guards are only Terry Rozier and LaMelo Ball. And then they have PJ Washington and Jalen McDaniels at power forward. In the center, Nick Richards and Vernon Carey. Throw in Keon Johnson, really their only shooting guard on the roster. He can play small forward too. He's an athletic freak. He'll catch lobs. He'll start. Imagine the transition kicking off where LaMelo gets the ball. He turns up court. This guy is already flying down court, and he throws a full court lob to Keon Johnson's 48-inch vertical. Tell me you wouldn't like that. And then they go and sign like Montrezl Harrell or an actual good starting center who can help them right now. And they can get another center in the second round. San Antonio. I know they could get a big man, but they have Jakob Poeltl, who is actually probably the fourth or fifth best defensive center in the league behind Rudy Gobert, Miles Turner, Joel Embiid, DeAndre Ayton, and I think you could argue right there Jakob Poeltl. Like, he could have arguably, if there was like a fourth or fifth team all defensive, or Jakob Poeltl would be the center for that. And I look at right here, they need shooting. Come on, this is, for the first time in a long time, this San Antonio team doesn't have shooting. How much would this team benefit if Corey Kespert's right there, comes in, Greg Popovich can have him starting right now or playing 25 off the bench? And I would like that. I had them getting Jalen Johnson because of that playmaking ability and Chet Englund fixing that three-point shot. But then I thought, no, Corey Kispert would be nice. I think the Spurs want to make the jump this year. They don't want to wait for Jalen Johnson to figure it out. They want Corey Kispert who can come in and play. Davion Mitchell's another option, but I think it's more Corey Kispert because he's a small forward and he could probably be a small ball four. Davion Mitchell, the Pacers have said it. Rick Carlisle has said it. We're trading the pick if we don't have an NBA-ready player. An NBA-ready player falls to him, and Davion Mitchell, a guy who averaged 15 points, shot 45% from three, and was the best defensive player in college basketball last year. Chris Duarte, Golden State. They got James Bouknight, a guard, wing. Chris Duarte's played guard in college, but I think he's more of a wing, and he might be able to play some small ball four if they ever go really small. I doubt it, but like they could go super small with Draymond, Chris Duarte, Andrew Wiggins, Klay Thompson, and Steph Curry. Washington goes, look, we got Daniel Gafford. We have Thomas Bryant under contract. We can bring back Robin Lopez or Alex Lynn. So why don't we get that shooting? We got Denny Avdia. Let's get a Chandler Hutchinson didn't work out. So let's get an actual shooter in Trey Murphy who can play the shooting guard position if Bradley Beal does leave. Russell Westbrook would still technically be there. It would be Russell Westbrook, Trey Murphy, and then, Denny Avdia as the secondary ball handler. Power forward, you can go Roy Hichimara. And then at center, you have your boy Daniel Gafford. Now, I already know some people are going to be like, why do you have Alperen Sengun and Isaiah Jackson both going to Oklahoma City? Because they don't have a center. They literally don't have a center on the roster. And yeah, they can get somebody in the second round. I don't know if you guys just heard my dog. But what I truly believe is that this team would benefit. Alperen Sengun has a Kevin Love type body. I've heard Sam Vincini of The Athletic talk about it. His body is very reminiscent of Kevin Love. I don't know if I just said Kyle Love. Kevin Love when he came into the NBA. And people truly believe, and I think the Oklahoma City Thunder, who they have a great development program, have shown that Alperen Sengun might start off with a Kevin Love type UCLA body, early Minnesota Timberwolves. But if they can transform that into what he had in his prime with the Cavaliers, he could be a stretch four, small ball five, who, guess he isn't going to be the world's best rim protector because of he has basically his wingspan is the same as his height, and he's more of a drop coverage, and it's going to rely on really good positioning, like having small margin of error to be a really good rim protector. So he's going to be a guy who averages close to a block a game, maybe just a block a game, but he's going to be a guy who has the potential to stretch the floor, be one of the best interior post players, and be a double-double because of his rebounding potential. Isaiah Jackson, on the other hand, imagine Alperen Sengun and Isaiah Jackson. Isaiah Jackson would be the rim running, high energy, blocking the shots, telling, yo, Sengun, don't worry about the defense, like, or going on the perimeter, because Isaiah Jackson could step out on the perimeter on certain players, and Alfred Sengun could step back, do the drop coverage, and they could work it out. And I really like that duo next to Shea and, you know, Jonathan Kuminga, Lou Dort, Alexei Pokashvetsky, Theo Mahaldon. Then Jalen Johnson. We saw Kyle Anderson, what he's done for this team, and Jalen Johnson would come in, and I think he would just be he'd do basically everything Kyle Anderson can do right now and have the potential of becoming a better version of Kyle Anderson who can shoot the ball. New York Knicks, Usman Garuba. He's probably one of the best defensive players in the draft and the best defensive interior player in the draft. He falls to New York. Yeah, they're going to take that in a second. And then Jaden Springer also falls there. Boom, shooting guard they got. 20, Kai Jones falls to them, and he's the perfect replacement for John Collins. This guy, you don't have to start him this year. You can start Onyeka Okongwu with Clint Capella if you have to, or Daniel Garnari as a stretch four, and Onyeka Okongwu off the bench, and have Kai Jones just be slowly brought on, kind of how they did with Okongwu. Jared Butler has been cleared for a full bill of health. This guy is probably one of the better, if not the best, on-ball perimeter defender in the guard position. And he's going to be a guy who can shoot 40% from three. He played 3 years of college ball. He can drop points. He's really a day one starter for the Lakers if they wanted to. But ideally, he can be a guy playing 20 minutes a night and be an efficient player. And honestly, he could be reminiscent to having a rookie year similar to Malcolm Brogdon. Zaire Williams, he just falls down here. He had a tough year. Hard assessment. He's a guy who could be a two-way player who averages like 15 points a game in his peak and gets you like a steal and a block a game with a few assists and rebounds while shooting close to 40%. And that's the Houston Rockets need everything, so they take him. And then they get Trey Mann. They need a backup point guard, 6'5", averaged almost 20 points a game, like 19, and could shoot 40% from three. Why not? The Clippers, they need size, shooting, people who can score inside, the defense. Kessler Edwards played 3 years at Pepperdine. That's where they filmed Zoe 101. PCA Academy is Pepperdine University. And 6'8" or 6'9", he has a very high release, 40%. I don't know if you guys just heard my dog. My dog just went off. She just barked. Hella. But, yeah, no. So he's a guy, he's 6'8", who could come in, play 15, 25 minutes a night, day one. Yes, the Nuggets have a lot of depth and they're bringing back Will Barton and JaMychal Green. But Joshua Primo could just play like 5 to 10 minutes a night his rookie year, then maybe 15 to 20 his sophomore year. Then when the contracts expire, you could just sign Will Barton to a 2-year deal or a 1-year deal and have Joshua Primo replace him. He's 18 years old. He's the youngest player in this draft. Why not? Jeremiah Robinson-Earl. We saw what Blake Griffin and the Morris brothers did in the playoffs. Robinson-Earl would come in. He'd be on a 4-year deal. He can stretch the floor. He's not going to be the best shooter at first, but he can, and he's strong enough to be a small ball 5. Bones Highland, lead guard. They need one off the bench. Yeah, George Hill's there, but George Hill and Bones Highland behind Ben Simmons, or, you know, if they do trade some, I don't think they're going to trade Ben Simmons, but if they do, you know, Bones Highland, Tyrese Maxey, you know, I just mentioned the guy and I'm blanking on it. George Hill could all run right there, the point guard spot. The Suns drafted Cameron Johnson, which was a surprise in the lottery. Then Stick Smith, who was supposed to be like the 20th or the 19th pick in the draft last year. And I think Stick Smith is a stretch 4, small ball 5. Neemias Queta's they're going to be this year's reach pick. And he's a guy who led the NCAA with 97 blocks, 3.3 per game. And he's just a god, and they're going to love him. I had him going Sharif Cooper, but the guy can't shoot, and I don't think they're going to do it because he has a 6'1", 6-foot wingspan. So it's not worth it. JT Thor, they need a guy, stretch 4, small ball 5. Jeremiah Robinson and Earl's off the floor, and JT Thor can guard perimeter players. Now, this is the second round, so going into this part of the video, we'll probably go through this a little bit quicker, but I'm just showing you guys all my second round picks. I want to hear, what do you guys think? A lot of it should be the same. I don't know why all of this just got like there. Should be the same, but yeah. So let's get right into it. I'm just going to keep going one more time all the way through so you guys can see all the options I have. I don't know why Day'Ron Sharp in his bio is like stretched off. There's like a lot of weird freaking choices. But yeah, this is the second round. Let's just run through it real quick and let's talk about it. Okay. So we're gonna talk right here. Quinn Grimes, 6'5". He's the best player at the combine. Come in, day one player who can play, like be in their 10-man rotation from day one. Io DeSumo, New York would love him. 6'4", guy can score. He shot 39% under 100 attempts last year, 35% over 300 attempts through his career. Great player. They could also go Herb Jones, but I think Herb Jones is going to go to Orlando. They're going to play him as a stretch four. Start off four. He can rebound like 7 a game. He can block shots, get steal, almost 2 a game steals, had a block a game. He can really defend. He really can defend 1s through 5s. Sharif Cooper comes out here. He's going to back up. Back up maybe Theo Maledon and Shea as the 2 guards, and the Oklahoma City Thunder will work on his shooting ability. And the reason why I don't have Sharif Cooper, I used to have him going in the first round, and the more I thought, I was like, look, this guy doesn't have a positive. Yes, he averaged 20 points a game last year for our Auburn, but he's 6'1", and he has a 6-foot or a 6'1" wingspan, so he's never going to be a great defender. Yes, he's a good ball handler, but he's not a good shooter right now, so who wants that? Who wants that? A guy who can't hit from 3, who's short and can't defend and doesn't have a large wingspan? Yes, I like him, and I think he could be a really good backup point guard, but I don't think he's worth a first-round pick. I want him to earn it. Joe Wieskamp, God, this guy is one of the better shooters in the league, not the league, and coming in the draft, and he's 6'7" with like a 6'9" or 6'11" wingspan, so good for him, and he'll give the Pelicans much-needed depth. Brandon Boston, another guy OKC is just going to take a flyer on him. He could develop into somebody really good. Detroit, they get Cam Thomas, who's one of the best, if not the best, natural scorer in the draft. Chicago, Thomas Stanarowski, they can trade him. Miles McBride, who was all Big 12 defensive, and he was one of the better players for West Virginia. He shot 40% from 3. Could be a great fit. Sacramento needs a big man with Rashawn Holmes leaving, and this is a project big man who can score inside, rebound, and could potentially get a jumper. Isaiah Todd, he's a stretch 4 big, and the reason why I have him falling to the second round is he was stupid and only worked out with lottery teams. He just looked like snobby. Like, when you make yourself, you're like, hey, I'm only going in the first round. Teams are just like, screw you, man. Screw you. And that's how I feel like. He might be a guy who doesn't even get drafted. He might do the Terrence Davis route, I think it was, and tell teams, don't draft me. I'm going to earn a roster spot in the summer league and training camp. San Antonio, Santi Aldama. Come on, look at this guy. 21.2 points, 10.1 rebounds, 2.3 assists, and 1.7 blocks. Only Tim Duncan, David West, Andre Bogut, Jason Thompson, Lamine Diane, and Santi Aldama. He averaged 1.9 threes made per game and a steal on 51%. Oh, come on, that screams San Antonio, and they need a big man. You could really challenge in 2 years for the starting role. Philippe Petrosiv, he had a great year, but he's probably just going to be stashed and never come over, and Detroit's fine with that. Josh Christopher, he's a guy who's an athletic scorer, has some upside, but he's really inefficient and didn't show any good defense in Arizona. Joel Ayaya, it's tough to gauge here. He's talented and he has some interest, and he won't go undrafted, but we don't know much about him just because he was like the 5th fiddle. Jason Preston's past 2 years at Ohio, he's the leading scorer. He can basically do every rebound, assist, get steals, and score. Johan Begarin, Nick Nurse will make this guy great. Same thing with Isaiah Livers, a stretch 4 small ball guy. Greg Brown will replace John Collins. He has a 40-inch plus vertical. He shot 33% from 3. He's very, very raw, but he could be the next Jeremy Grant. Aaron Henry, 6'5". Yeah, he regressed as a shooter every year, but he is one of the most athletic player behind Greg Brown and Keon Johnson. David Johnson's right there. He can't shoot, but he's a really good passer and not the best scorer. But all right, the last 9 picks. Day'Ron Sharpe, I really don't like him. I don't even think he's a starting level center, so that's why. But people like him. Vrenz, he's a guy who I've started to watch. He's got really good skill moves and has some good passing, like Thomas Statorowski level passing ability for a wing player. And he seems like a natural fit in the NBA with his versatility, his ability to hit the outside shot, and being 6'10", he can guard players. David Duke, he could be really a steal. He put up a bunch of shots. He's a guy that I think's gotten better every year. So, he could be good. Raekwon Gray, small ball 5. They've never had that in Indiana, and I think they would really benefit. Plus, Jakar Sampson's leaving, so he could replace him. Daishen Nix, he was really bad. Like, I don't know. He's one of the youngest players, but he was bad. He's bad. I don't even think he's an NBA player anymore. Matthew Hurt, if he can develop his athleticism and add strength to his frame, he can be an all right defender with shooting ability. Jericho Sims, imagine catching lobs from LaMelo. Moses Wright, he's a rock solid power forward who he's more probably gonna be a big in the NBA. Luka Garza, someone's just gonna draft him because of him. And Austin Reeves, I really think Indiana would love this, and he's just kind of fits right there. So yeah, that's it for me. Tell me what you guys thought. That's it. That was a long one.